What if you're having an existential crisis because you crave perfect moments that don't exist? This is the question I'm asking myself after reading Nausea by Jean-Paul Sartre. So if you haven't read Nausea, it's basically an existential novel about our lonely and brooding protagonist, Antoine Roquentin, who lives in France and is profoundly disillusioned with his life and, frankly, his existence. The novel is written in the form of these introspective and poetic diary entries, many of which reflect his existential unease. Now, what's interesting is that Nausea doesn't have a traditional plot. Rather, you'll find yourself reading a series of seemingly meaningless moments disconnected from any concrete storyline. And this is intentional. Our experience as the reader mirrors the existential obscurity that Antoine struggles with throughout the novel. And reading his entries, you find that his existential unease comes in the form of this deeper, nauseating disgust with reality and the overwhelming strangeness of everything. And the beauty of this novel is seeing how his unease is apparent in his observations, such as his scrutiny of human behavior and even himself, and how all of it is ascribed to a deep loneliness and lack of fulfillment with his life. Here is one quote where you can really see how his existential solitude has shaped the views of even himself. "Perhaps it is impossible to understand one's own face, or perhaps it is because I am a single man. People who live in society have learned how to see themselves in mirrors as they appear to their friends. I have no friends. Is that why my flesh is so naked? You might say, yes, you might say, nature without humanity." You can see how his solitude strips life down to this morbid objectivity. Without humanity, without sentiment, everything is reduced to their objectivity, and it all feels meaningless, even the sight of our own reflection. But Antoine's existential crisis is not random. We learn he's well-traveled, he's been with women, he's had a life of experiencing different cultures, but we learn that his travels have served as an escape from his disillusionment with reality. And when he reminisces back on these memories, they feel distant, to the point where they feel like they never even happened. They simply just pass through him. And this idea suggests that our memories might as well be as abstract as our own imagination. From this, we realize even our own novel experiences cannot save us from the meaninglessness of reality. It must be confronted, it must be accepted. And that is one big takeaway from the novel. Nothing we strive for will ever fill the vacancy that is the meaninglessness of our existence. Reality is indifferent to all our arbitrary construction. But when you approach the end of the novel, he has a discussion with somebody that really resonated with me, and it's the idea of perfect moments. And it's this discussion around how we feel disappointed with life because deep down we're striving to orchestrate perfect moments as a means of romanticizing our existence, and that no matter how hard we try to romanticize our life in this way, we'll eventually find ourselves disappointed. And it leads to this overwhelming realization that life won't conform to our romanticized ideal, that it's a series of fleeting and partial moments that simply happen through us. And maybe that's what subjects us to this nausea, our profound discomfort with this existential truth. And maybe most of what we do to live is just to distract ourselves from that nauseating truth. Except for this very moment right now.